Hello students, hope you all are having a good day. So we have completed the HTML section now and we are going to proceed to the CSS section. So we learned in the HTML section how to create HTML web pages. Now going forward, we are going to learn how can we design the pages that we created in the HTML section. So students, I have added more folders inside the class folder with files for CSS, intro and JavaScript as well. I'll add this entire folder as a zip file in the resource section of this lecture so you can download them and refer on your laptop as well. So no other HTML tags have been used to create these web pages other than what we learned in the HTML section. So the fundamentals remain the same and you can try to create these web pages on your own, and if you find any difficulties you can refer to the files that have been attached in the resource section. Moving ahead to the CSS section. So today we'll be covering default styling, which is also called as user agent style sheet. If you remember students, we covered this topic briefly in the HTML section as well. But just to re-emphasize it, and because it's the foundation of what we'll be learning in the CSS section, I'll cover this topic once again. So I'll just go ahead and do an inspect element on this page. I'll click the cursor icon and I'll go and select any element on the page. I've selected the H2 element, which is CSS topics to cover. If you can see on the right side students, there is some style properties mentioned for this element. So whenever we create HTML elements, they automatically, as you can see, H2 is smaller than H1 and the other list elements are smaller than H2 and the A tag is blue in color and underlined on its own. And when I'm taking my cursor on the A tag, it changes to a pointer. So students, how is it happening without us defining what the characteristic of these elements should be? So every browser comes with some preset styles, which is known as user agent style sheet. And if you haven't defined any CSS on your own, so student, this is what the CSS code will look like, as you can see here when we are going to write it from next chapter onwards. But for now, what you need to understand is that even if you're not mentioning any style properties for a HTML element, there are some default properties that come into action. In the next chapters, we'll understand how we can change these default properties and override them with the properties that we define. So I hope you understand this. We'll cover inline styling. We'll learn to add some CSS properties to the HTML elements that we have on our web page in the next chapter.